Hey, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine and Mojo Radio, and with me, Sam Hughes of the Sammus Theory. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I am doing really good. I have to be honest. I'm glad I'm not still living down there in Phoenix. Rather, I'm up here in Idaho, your old stomping grounds.
Nice. Yeah, it's good weather up there about now, huh?
It is, and a whole lot less crime.
Yeah.
And it's almost May. That's about when I always turned on the AC for the year and opened up my swimming pool. So with the 100-plus degree days fast approaching for you there, you ready to get on the road and roll out of town with the band?
Yeah, we usually plan to get out of here right before summer hits, so we don't have to deal with the 120 degrees sunburnt days and everything, you know. So yeah, definitely ready for that.
How many dates you guys going to have on this the new tour?
Oh, let's see. We've got quite a few so far lined up. We're still locking down the rest of them for our first leg, but we're going out for about 2 months, or just over 2 months for that first leg, and then we come home for 2 weeks, and then we're going out to the Midwest. So got quite a few. I would say we got probably like 20, 25 dates, I think.
And I know you're going to come back up here to Idaho, but the question is, are you going to stick to Idaho Falls this time, or are you actually going to make it into Boise?
You know what, man? I'll be honest. We have been trying for Boise for a long time, and it's really difficult for some reason, you know, because we can book everywhere. We have no problems booking anywhere, and then when we hit Boise, it's like I'll send out emails, I'll call people, and for some reason it just doesn't ever happen. So I'm working on it. I want to come into Boise this time. So.
All right. Well, now you guys are a perfect example of how the internet has changed music. Rather than a group of friends and acquaintances getting together, like, you know, we used to do it back when I was your age. You brought the various members into the project through like Craigslist, MySpace, and Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm. You got it. Yeah. That was interesting, just trying to figure out, you know, I want to start a band, so where do I go? And then just posting up stuff and meeting people, just, you know, and whoever you click with and whoever had the talent, and you can tell instantly when somebody's going to be a good fit because they come in and everything's good. You know, it just has this cool vibe to it, and so that's the way we did it for pretty much everybody in the band. You know, and then recently, you know, finding anybody who's I guess our newest addition, Bill. He was actually a big fan of ours, so it's been easier now because, you know, if we ever need to, you know, hopefully not ever again. I don't like changing up band members, but you know, we've got fans and things across the country who are always excited to see auditions and things like that. So yeah, internet's been good for that. Definitely been good for that.
Well, that brings up a question I was going to ask you later on, but I'll go ahead and ask it now. I mean, you talked about the band chemistry and how well you all got along on and off stage. Now Nick and Paul are gone, and Bill and Marshall are in. How has that changed the dynamic and chemistry in the band?
You know, I'll be honest, and hopefully this doesn't come across rude or anything like that, but every time we've had to replace somebody, you know, we know what to look for more in the new person that comes in. You know, things that about the other people that were in the band that were difficult to work with, or things like that. And if everybody who comes in, it makes the dynamic stronger. You know, so we've been very careful to make sure that whoever we bring in is you know, the same as or a step up as far as dynamic goes, and make sure that they work well with us, and we can all work together as a unit and make things happen. So it's very good right now. Very, very, very good.
Excellent. Was it strange to try and share your vision and bring it to life with a group of strangers like that the way you did?
Honestly, at first, you know, because when I started this thing, I think I was 19, so it's a little nerve-wracking to meet random people, you know, being 19 and just hitting people up on the internet, like, hey, you want to play some music, you know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing. So being nervous and shy, I guess, and I got over it pretty quick because everybody who came in was just super cool, and we all got along really well, and we have great chemistry playing together and hanging out, you know, so It got really comfortable really fast, and then after that, it's just been, it's cool.
Excellent. And, I mean, obviously it shows in the music. Your first album, See It Through, excellent album. You're getting ready to release Trusting the Liar here shortly. For those who are new to hearing the band, I mean, obviously you've already got a ton of great fans out there, but for those who are just coming into the Sammus theory, can you sort of share with us your musical vision for the band?
A musical vision? Like what we're trying to get out message-wise, or
just sort of where you're trying to fit into the musical genre, because you guys are sort of, you're a little bit edgier than most hard rock bands, but you're not quite metal per se. You're sort of somewhere right in between, and you're not sort of copying the mold of so many other bands. You're really sort of doing your own thing, and obviously you had to sort of have some sort of vision for that.
Well, it's always been something that I enjoy really heavy stuff, and I also enjoy, I grew up on Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and kind of the grunge era there, and so it's always been something it's kind of play what we like to play, So as far as that goes, we mix the heavy with the more commercial, and have ended up kind of in between both those genres, So it's been interesting how, I mean, some people don't know how to take it, and there's other people who love it, so it's one of those things that's, we just keep doing it, and hopefully, more people jump on board, and that's, that's about it, I guess. We just play what we love,
And I know you guys get asked this all the time, but again, this is for the people who don't know the story yet. I know the idea of the band name comes from sort of that alter ego concept, but can you explain it for us?
Yeah. Well, basically, just trying to start from the beginning, Sammus was a nickname for me, and basically it developed into kind of what was an alter ego. I would go to shows and everything, and people in Phoenix knew me as Sammus when I was, 18, and so it turned to this alter ego thing, and then the Sammus theory is basically the idea that everybody has this other side that music brings out of them. Like, you can have jazz music, you have rock music, you can have blues music, any sort of music brings out a whole different side of people that you would never see in their day-to-day lives, like working 9-to-5 jobs, And so basically the Sammus theory is another, like Sammus is another word for alter ego, basically,
Now, your debut album, See It Through, was a concept album of sorts. How about Trusting the Liar?
Definitely. It's basically summing up our experiences that we've had, because we've dealt with a label before, we've dealt with management, we've dealt with booking agents, we've just experiencing both the really good things about the industry and the really bad things about the industry, and when we first started this, everything seems very glorious, and there's no there's no inkling that anything's bad in the music industry, or there's no dark side to it, and once you get here, you start realizing it's really economically violent. People are trying to take your money and do things, but there's also really good things to it. So it's just sharing our experiences that we've had with that, and just basically talking about how, it looks different from far away. But once you get here, you understand it better, and you have to start looking at it like a business,
Right. Well, I just talked to Joey Chicago not too long ago from Egypt Central. I don't know if you know those guys or not, but their new album, White Rabbit, is basically sort of a similar concept, how they sort of got sidetracked for a number of years between albums, chasing the white rabbit or that dream down the rabbit hole, and discovering it isn't Wonderland that they found.
Yeah. So, it's pretty intense. I mean, if you if you don't have your guard up, there's a lot of, unfortunately, it's like this. You got a lot of people who take advantage and try and keep you in their pocket so they can keep making their bucks off you. But it happens. I'm sure it happens in every business. So it's just looking at it realistically. It's a business, and even as much fun as it is, and it's an art form and everything. It's also, you know, deals with money and business stuff. So, you know, there's going to be sharks out there.
Now, See It Through included material that you've been working on for years, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Is some of that material that you had from years ago showing up on Trusting the Liar, or is this all brand new material?
This has been, let's see, when we put out See It Through quite a while ago, so there's been some time to be able to sit down and write new stuff, and we released an EP last year that had 3 songs on it that were on Trusting the Liar, just redone and you know, more solid. But basically, all this stuff is pretty much new. Just, you know, had a chance to sit down and really focus right after we got done with our tour in October of last year. And I took a break and I went and visited my parents and everything and got home in January and just wrote for the entire month and knocked them out, you know. So basically a venting of our last couple of years of touring and stuff. So.
Well, and I know for you draw your lyrics from everyday life. Maybe if you would, can you share with us about a couple of songs on the album that maybe were either really tough for you to write lyrically or may have been cathartic in some way?
I think probably one of the most personal ones that I wrote on the album is a song called In My Place, and that was I had written the music before I went out to go visit my parents in New Mexico. And it was on the day after Christmas Day, my great grandma, who I was really, really, really close with, passed away. And so when I got home, I went into the studio and I wrote the lyrics and sang them all on the same day and just knocked it out. And it was ended up being pretty emotional song, you know. But
and I was going to ask you too, does your songwriting process still work the same? You know, you bring the core of the song to the band and then flesh it out from there, or now do you guys pretty much write them all together?
It's still pretty similar. I've got my rig here at the house, and I'll sit down and I'll come up with ideas and things and knock them out, and then I'll send them over to the guys, and they'll put their input on it and get their ideas in on it, and we'll basically hone it in and kind of mold it into the final song. So.
All right. Now I know that you're a big Marilyn Manson fan, and I know you hadn't actually seen him live until the Mayhem tour a couple of years ago. So I'm assuming you've now actually seen him perform live. What was it like?
Honestly, it was a great show. It was a great show, but I was more, I guess, expecting 1997 Marilyn Manson. You know, like the
right.
Crazy spit and bleeding and. And it was more of a relaxed show. He came out and he was wearing a jersey and was just kind of hanging out and doing his thing. So it was fun seeing all the songs being done live. But you know, a lot of the original guys were gone, and it was just different. It was different than what I had always seen. You know, when I started in with Marilyn Manson. So.
All right. So is there anybody out there that you still really want to see live? That you're inspired by?
Oh boy. You know what? I had an opportunity to go see 9 Inch Nails a little while ago, on their last tour that they did with, Jane's Addiction. But I left for tour like a week before they got here and somebody had already bought my ticket, and, I was pretty bummed about that. I have been wanting to see 9 Inch Nails for a long time, so, you know, anything I've ever seen video-wise, they've got an amazing light show, and they've just got their whole thing together, their whole production and everything, you know. It's perfect. So that would be pretty good. Pretty good to see.
Well, for you guys, for the Sammus theory, who would you guys most like to go out on tour with, whether they're still, you know, past, present, future, whatever, you know, whether it's somebody that's not touring anymore, or, you know, who would that be, your dream tour?
Oh, dream tour. That's tough. Well, you know, for me personally, it would be, you know, like Marilyn Manson. Going out on tour with Marilyn Manson would be a blast, you know. But I think we had all gone to, I know this is a newer band, but we had all gone to Uproar when we played it in Denver, and we got to see Avenged Sevenfold. And I got to say, those guys, I wasn't that big of a fan before this, but when they got on stage and they knocked out their stuff, like, they know how to do a show. They were amazing, like really, really good. So I think that would be definitely an awesome tour.
Absolutely, they are an incredibly magnetic live band. So you got to see Hailstorm then too, one of the better new bands as well.
Yeah, they were good. They were great. They were great.
All right. So before we get out of here, since you're new to so many people, why don't you tell us a couple of things about you that most people might not know?
Oh boy. Like, you want me to get, like, real personal here?
It's whatever you want to share. It could be something as silly as all you drink is Mountain Dew, or, you have a deep passion for cooking cucumber sandwiches at 2 a.m,
All right, check this out. So I'm a terrible cook, and I have burned top ramen before. I don't know how that happens, but I burned it in the microwave. But recently, I've taken up cooking, like, health food stuff. It's weird. And I'm actually pretty good at it. So there's something, like, I start cooking and, like, slicing vegetables and not losing fingers, So yeah, there's that. But the other one is that I'm also a really terrible cook. So don't believe me when I'm telling you that I'm pretty good at it either. So I think I'm pretty good, but somebody else could be having a hard time eating my stuff.
And when you're out on tour away from home, what's the one thing you absolutely have to have with you? You can't live without.
My laptop or my blanket. It's as weird as that sounds, we all have our blankets from our houses that we bring with us, and it's kind of like you hang on to that, like, this is mine,
It's like called the Linus theory.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Sam, I appreciate your taking the time. I'm glad we got a chance to talk.
Thanks for having me on, man. This has been a blast.